Today is a special episode of Keeping It Real as we get to speak with an agent who has been practicing for 39 years. Does she have some wisdom to share? Oh boy, does she. Stay tuned. This episode of Keeping It Real is brought to you by Real Geeks. How many homes are you going to sell this year? Do you have the right tools? Is your website turning soft leads into interested buyers? Are you spending money on leads that aren't converting? Well, Real Geeks is your solution. Find out why agents across the country choose Real Geeks as their technology partner. Real Geeks was created by an agent for agents. They pride themselves on delivering a sales and marketing solution so that you can easily generate more business. Their agent websites are fast and built for lead conversion with a smooth search experience for your visitors. Real Geeks also includes an easy-to-use agent CRM. So once a lead signs up on your website, you can track their interest and have great follow-up conversations. Real Geeks is loaded with a ton of marketing tools to nurture your leads and increase brand awareness. Visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod and find out why realtors come to Real Geeks to generate more business. Again, visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod. And now, on to our show. Hello and welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show. And in just a moment, we're going to be speaking with 39-year real estate veteran Susan Santoro. But before we get to Susan, just a couple of quick reminders. Please, as always, support our sponsors. We love our sponsors. They help pay the bills for us and help us keep producing episodes. So check out their services and products and consider investing in them. And then second, please tell a friend about the show. Think of one other realtor that could use the wisdom that you're about to hear from Susan and share this episode with another agent. So send it over. Also leave us a review. I guess I asked for 3 things. Oh, well, thank you for everyone. We love you. We love our audience, our listeners. We appreciate you. But let's get to the main event. My conversation with Susan Santoro. All right, today on the show, our guest is Susan Santoro from the Susan Santoro team with William Pitt Sotheby's International Realty in New Haven County in Connecticut. Now, let me tell you more about Susan. Now, since 1985, Susan Santoro has held a prominent position as one of the most distinguished agents within the greater New Haven shoreline region. As the foremost agent in sales at William Pitt Sotheby's International Realty's Guilford brokerage, she has garnered a reputation as an unparalleled performer, securing the #1 agent title and claiming the #3 spot across the entire company. Operating as a cohesive unit, Susan leads the Susan Santoro team, which is a dedicated assembly of accomplished full-time realtors whose excellence earned them the Distinguished Top Real Estate Award from Inman based on sales, amassing over $73 million in transactions just last year. Now, year after year, her achievements are underscored by multiple awards, including the prestigious Connecticut Magazine 5-Star Real Estate Agent Award. She secured the highest ranking for overall satisfaction. That's a client award. Distinction showcased in Connecticut Magazine. In addition to that, she's super into philanthropy and giving back. She's actively engaged with the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, a testament to her unwavering dedication to fundraising, and also is involved with the Ronald McDonald House Trees of Hope. And we are just so honored to have Susan on the show. Before Susan comes on, I want everybody to follow her at Instagram. So go to Instagram, Susan Santoro _realtor. Now we will have a link to that in the show notes as well as Susan's website. Susan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice introduction. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, the last time I was, for anyone who isn't, I'm going to interrupt myself now twice as I'm getting through this. Anyone who isn't familiar with New Haven is just outside of New York. It's basically right on the shore. And it is known for a number of things. Probably most notably, people of New Haven will tell you, and they will tell you with a straight face, that they invented pizza. Now, I don't know if that's
It's
technically true
true.
or not, and that is a debatable topic. And I am not here to maybe the final authority on whether it was in Naples, Italy, or New Haven. But New Haven people are very, very proud of their pizza. And I have eaten New Haven pizza, and I've eaten the very famous Pepe's clam pizza,
There you
which
go.
sounds really gross for a lot of you listening, but it is delicious. So, Susan, I am a big pizza fan, and I love the
Great.
fact that I'm talking to a New Haven person because I love your pizza.
I look forward to treating you to it when you come. But it's between Pepe's and Sally's. We have these pizza wars all the time, and everybody has their favorite. In Worcester Street, there are plenty of other places in New Haven also, and the pizza's good everywhere.
I went to ChatGPT for the official answer, and again, ChatGPT. It's not exactly the Oracle at Delphi, but
Right,
it's
right,
close to accurate. And I said, "Where was pizza originated?" And it said, "While people of New Haven will tell you that it's
right,
originated
right,
there,
right.
we believe it actually is from Naples, but it's still not totally clear." So we'll go with New
There you
Haven
go.
because
And you could
because
get New Haven style pizza in your hometown too, in
yeah.
Chicago.
So for any Chicago people, if you are familiar with Peace, which is always on the top Chicago pizza
Absolutely.
places list, it's not Chicago style, which is the deep dish, stuff, but
Right.
it's thin crust, more of a taverny sort of style. But no, not tavern, but thin and big and just delicious. I am a huge fan of New Haven style. So anyway,
Yes. And
we
they are
will
from
talk
New
about.
Haven.
I
So
I could
stop
talk
by
about
and say hi to
pizza.
them.
I will. Um, but we want to talk about Susan and all of her amazing real estate accomplishments. Now, Susan, you've been in the industry nearly 40 years, which is so
Yes.
amazing and
Crazy.
impressive. And you are still crushing it all these years later. I would love to start at the very beginning of your journey. Like, how did you
Mm.
get into real estate and why?
So it was kind of an accident. My husband is a real estate developer and kind of ran out of land and needed a place to build and was like, why don't you get your real estate license and go and look for some land for me to build on? So that's how it started. And then thought, oh, we're going to have a family. I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom. And then, once you have a couple of good sales under your belt, you're either born with it or you're not. That adrenaline, that fire in your belly, you can't wait to make the next sale. And then it becomes addicting. And so by the time my daughter was born 5 years later, it was a major career. And I still wake up every single day with that fire. And I can't wait to see what the next deal is going to be.
That's amazing, and it is fun. I would like to ask you, what is what fuels that fire, like inside of you? I never really asked this question, but I think it's a good one. Like, what do you are you aware of what it is inside of you that is just so eager to keep going forward? Is there certain goals you're looking to hit? Is it just a feeling of satisfaction? Is it about helping? What is it?
So it's a lot of the above, except for the goal part. I am not, believe it or not, most successful people always say, "Oh, I've got this, board or this, the goals of my year." I don't like goals. I just like to keep on going, keep on going. And
Yeah,
not many people have asked me, kind of like, what is your why?
yeah,
Um, but the truth is I dropped out of college after my first year. I was never meant to go to college. My mom was not happy and told me that, if you want to be successful in life, you have to have that opportunity and go to college and get a degree. So, and my dad, who ran a major corporation, was CEO of a major corporation, also didn't finish college. So I
wow.
think it was one of those things like, I'm going to show her. And now we just, we laugh about it every time I get an award. I send it to my mom and I say, let me know when I'm going to become something. So um, that was kind of my why. It makes my dad super happy, still checks in on me weekly, wants to know my sales, and gets a big smile on his face. So I think he remains my why. He wrote a wonderful book called Pilot Your Life. It sits on my desk and it's my motivational Bible. It's a
Oh,
great motivational book for people in business, and he's definitely my why.
Well, let's give a plug for that book. Say the title one more time and your
Pilot
father's
Your
name.
Life. Pilot Your Life. My dad is Ronald Shaw. He was the CEO of the Pilot Pen Corporation.
Oh, well, we certainly know who they are. And
So
in fact, I have they have offices here in Chicago, and
they do.
I have friends that work at Pilot. Oddly enough, I have one
Huh,
friend that works at Pilot or did. I don't know if
okay.
she's still there, but oh, that is wild. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yes, that is a big company. Wow, and isn't it
Yep. So,
amazing? Not an MBA, not a college grad, and he was a
no.
CEO. Incredible,
Yeah,
just
and a lot of the
incredible.
book kind of talks about that, and it's just that confidence level. I raised my daughter saying, make a decision, believe in it, own it, it's yours, and then just follow it. And that's just sort of a simple way of life, whether you're making a decision on going to a party or not, or whether you're making a decision on a business transaction. I think it's all the same. Once you own that, you believe in it, you just keep going. And that's how I feel about my business. And I tell my team and other agents who ask me all the time, how do you still do these hours? It's 60, 70 hours sometimes a week. How do you still do this after all these years? And see, you wake up unemployed every single day in our business, and you have to go out and look your best. If you wear makeup, put on your makeup, put on, get dressed, just go out and present yourself the best way possible. And you will be a success. You'll be confident and it'll show. And with that comes success.
You wake up unemployed every day. That is so true. And it is, I know there would be people to say, well, that's a negative way to look at it. But you know what? I have found that having that thought of, it's something that's pushing against me versus something I'm running towards, like the idea that I'm unemployed. Oh my God, I got to pay my
Hmm.
bills.
Right.
That is, I think, a more powerful motivator than, like, for example, if I was being chased by somebody with a knife, I think I'd run faster than if I was running towards $1 million. I bet I would run
Hmm.
faster with a guy chasing me with a knife. So even though I would like not to be motivated by pain,
Hmm.
the reality of it is it's true. We are, as agents, we are unemployed every
Hmm.
single morning when we wake up. And it's an opportunity to not only find business, but to keep the business that we do
Right.
have and really treasure it because it can go away at a moment's notice.
Absolutely.
Um, that is a
And I
really
think if,
great lesson.
people come up to you at parties, people come up to you at the grocery store, everybody wants to know how the market is. Tell me about real estate, or asking you about a particular property. And so that's where, again, you're selling yourself constantly. So,
How important is it for you to have that information about the local market on hand, ready to talk, and maybe, to varying degrees of detail, I'm sure. But how important is it when you're at the grocery store and someone's like, "Hey, Susan, you've been doing this forever. What's the market like?" How do you typically address a question like that?
it's very important. And I am a statistics person, so I do look at the numbers every day, whether it's against, me, I don't want to call them competitors, but just associates, other associates. But I always kind of know what's going on. I look at percentages in, like I just wrote an offer, for instance, in Fairfield County, and I usually base just out of New Haven County, but because Yale New Haven Hospital has bought up a hospital down in Fairfield County, we now have a lot of our doctors that are going that way as well. So I was just down there, and their business is done very differently than ours. But before I went down, I went and I looked at kind of where the numbers are. And I'm seeing that things are going approximately 13% over asking. So it was
Wow.
such an important tool for me to be able to share with my clients. We crafted a great offer the first time. They didn't want to go that high over, and they didn't get the first house. And the second one, they listened to me. We crafted a perfect offer the sellers could not say no to, and it went approximately 12.5% over asking, but our offer got signed.
You know,
So I think knowing the numbers is very important, knowing your market. And then, of course, you know, um, you can always, tell someone, you know what, I'm going to get back to you later. I'm going to look this up for you. And great reason to make a phone call back to that person. Now you've
absolutely.
captured them. It's like being stuck in an elevator, and
You know,
call them.
I love what I just want to go back to one thing that you said that for me was pretty. It's something that I can't remember another one of our guests saying in all the episodes we've done. So I just want to step on it a little bit because I think it's really, really a great idea. So what Susan said, and she said it very quickly, and I just want to make sure that everyone heard it. She said, when she was about to produce an offer, she looked at, obviously comparable places. She looked at list price and then sales price and just did the quick math on what, that percentage over was. That way she can bring that data back to her client and say, here's why we should consider this type of offer based on, other comps. I don't know that a lot of agents do that. And that is a lot of agents are like, okay, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, how much do you want to spend? Okay, maybe we can go a little bit over. And it's more of just like finessing like the feeling of the buyer, but not actually bringing the hard data saying, well,
Mhm.
we should offer X based on. I think that is a really great idea for anyone who's working with offers.
Do your homework. Before you go to do an open house, and I tell the agents on my team this, I always remind them, pull up a circle on MLS as to everything around the area that you're doing the open house at. Know your statistics, know what else is out there. That house might not be right for them. You can easily get in the car after your open house and take them to look at the other listings around the area. So just do your
Yeah.
homework.
And you probably also in the county that you serve, and I know you work, a lot of places in Connecticut. But I imagine what neighborhoods people like are starter neighborhoods. You know where
Mhm.
they graduate to when
Right.
where the best schools are. All of this is we're talking really about knowing the community, knowing the inventory, knowing kind of what's happening. How much time do you think you spend every day sort of checking in on those stats?
I do it every night. So luckily, I was born with not needing a lot of sleep, which works great um, in my personal practice. When the world gets quiet, 11 to 2 a.m., I'm on the computer. I'm just checking numbers. I'm checking towns, seeing what's new, seeing, sales. That's when I work the best. So I would say I do it every single night. But in the beginning of my career, I did 2 open houses every single Sunday. Did that for years. That's how I built my list of clientele, and I always went on. Back then, we had a book that we used to flip through
Oh,
and
sure.
see what the listings were around the area and know the sales. So I was able to just hopefully answer a question that may have come up at an open house. So I think it's a good practice. If you get out of the practice, that's not good.
Yeah,
I
get
think you just
back
have to
in.
do it
It's it's
constantly. Yep.
it's yeah, doing open houses, it just is the thing to do, and it's
Hmm.
always the thing to do, and
Right.
technology has not really changed it too much to where open houses seem to be still very effective.
Hmm.
Have it probably drives you crazy when you see newer agents not wanting to sit open houses on the
Hmm.
weekends. I think if I was a new agent, that I would beg other agents to let me come to their open house.
Absolutely.
I would
It's what I
beg them.
Right. I tell them all the time, here, I'm giving it to you. I mean, the people that are walking in the door,
Oh,
some are just doing this as a hobby, right? They just want to go and see a nice house. But most of them are coming because they have an interest in buying a piece of real estate. It might not be that piece of real estate, but you now have their information. You hopefully have a conversation and get up a, repertoire with them, and they'll call you when they're ready to buy real estate, or you can be in touch with them. And I think the technology today, if you get their email, you just drip on them and drip on them. Eventually, when they're ready to buy real estate, oh, what was that realtor's name I met? And it's going to be
yeah.
right on the top of their head. So I think it's really important to put yourself out there. And whether it's
Under
at the open house, gym, the grocery store, my family makes fun of me, but I'll never walk out the door not in a matching outfit or having my hair look good or whatever, because you're always selling yourself.
mhm.
So, and branding, put your name everywhere that that's allowed. So,
Yeah. Totally agree. I think those are all amazing ideas, and it's things I agree with personally as well. So, sort of the irony of you not being, a college grad, but being ultra successful in real
Hmm.
estate is you actually work a lot with Yale, which is in New Haven as well.
Hmm.
So, you work with a lot of the doctors at Yale. You work, I think, with faculty as well. So
Hmm.
let's, this is something that I don't think we've ever talked to anyone about is being sort of a friend to the university where you get sort of known amongst the management there that you're a person that can help when professors come in and leave, or when physicians come and leave at the hospital. So can you talk a little bit about how did you build those relationships, and
Yeah.
how did that work for you?
So, it's become a niche. I think I've mentioned to you that when one of my clients years ago named me realtor to the docs, and that becomes my hashtag realtor to the docs. And it's not the only people that I work with, clearly, but it was kind of an accident. It was probably about 25 years ago. Sold a house to a chief of a department that was coming in, and it was going to be a struggle. They were wooing him from Harvard, so it took a while. Negotiations take a while. It was probably a good year. That every time they'd come to town, I'd show them houses, show them around, get to know the area, took them for pizza. And we obviously finally got into contract. And he said to me, like, I promise you, I'm going to be building a very big department here. And that department, I've moved my 49th doctor into that department from him in 25 years. Now, obviously, those sales turn into they multiply, because then one of those doctors has someone coming from UCLA that they just came from, let's say, and from another department, and then they give my name to that department, and then that starts spreading around to departments. So right now I have three departments that I really get fed a lot of business from the chiefs directly. Now it's a lot of work. It's not just, oh, here's a doctor and you go out and you show them a house. It's I get them sometimes on their second interview here, and they still have maybe four interviews to go, but they
Wow.
want to see if they can afford to live in Connecticut. So I'll take them in the car. I'll spend a day, and it's kind of I'm driving them around and educating them on the areas, and to drive them by house and say, here's approximately what this one would go for. So I really give them a full education. Out of maybe 10 doctors that I'll take in my car that they've given me, maybe one or two, if I'm lucky, will take the position. So it's
Wow.
not
So
all
it's a
fun and
lot of
games. It's
time. Yeah.
it's a lot of time, but it pays off because, like I said, what I find is that, I'm educating these very brilliant people on such a different level, right? I'm certainly not saving lives, but I'm changing lives. And they don't have a lot of time. So they come to me, I'm a very good listener because I have to be. They tell me what they're looking for. And then if there's something obviously not on the market now, but when they're ready, I'll use my resources. I don't love cold calling, but I'll do it. A lot of times I'll call my list of clients that I've amassed over 39 years and say, do you know anybody who's looking to sell in your neighborhood? I have this great couple coming to Yale. They'd be perfect. I do a lot of letter writing, personal letter writing, and just sometimes get an open listing. Just say, just let me just show it to this one client. And a lot of people don't want their house on the market, and they're thrilled to do it. And it just becomes a smooth transaction. And but I think it's an interesting, kind of niche. I kind of call it where healthcare, meets and real estate merge, right? It's that.
Yeah.
Um, and like I said, I think it's teaching them. They're so brilliant, but they don't know anything about real estate.
Sure.
They don't know what a septic tank is. Their eyes light up when they realize like what actually goes into a septic tank. Um, they don't understand financing. They know what they make, they know they can afford what they can afford, but they don't understand, 15-year versus a 30-year, or, a fixed rate versus an arm. So I love teaching them. And then, like I said, we kind of change their lives quickly, and I have to do it efficiently and move on. So,
Let I want to go
go
back.
ahead.
I want to go
Yeah.
back to the open house, or sorry, the open listing idea,
Mm,
because this was something that stuck out as you were mentioning. So walk us through that, because I don't know that everyone
sure.
listening is going to understand what that means.
So, they're in other areas, not here, they kind of pocket listings, right? They're
Yeah,
sort of the same thing, except that, I will literally call someone in a neighborhood that I think it's perfect, that the house is perfect for, and ask them, would you be interested in selling? Here's what I think I could get you. And you don't have to put your house on the market. You don't have to clean it. You don't have to, pick your socks up off the floor. Here's when they're going to be here. Let me bring them in, and it's simple. And with COVID, that was a gift to a lot of people
absolutely.
who, especially, some of my doctors who obviously, couldn't get sick, and we just bring them into one house. If it was perfect, great, we make the deal. They're not as picky as someone that may have, a no timeline. They figure out what school system they want. I always send them to like greatschools.org. I let them do their own homework. Never steer anybody towards a school system because it's different for everybody. Somebody might be looking for a kid that's really strong in theater or really strong in math. So, I steer them to greatschools.org and then let them make their decision, and then kind of pick out 3 towns and run.
That's a great tip. The that website for pushing that whole conversation off. For ethics, obviously we can't really steer somebody towards a particular school, but you can steer
Right.
them towards the website and say do your own research. I
Exactly.
have found I just LinkedIn just told me I've been doing this for 6 years, which I didn't realize, and I feel actually a little bit like, God, has it been 6 years? Maybe I need to hang it up. But no, I'm having too much fun doing it. But the reason I'm bringing that up is, oh gosh, now I just lost my,
About LinkedIn.
my train of thought. Oh no, it was about what I was reflecting on over the last 6 years. Sorry. So over the last 6 years, I was thinking a lot about when I saw that I've been doing this 6 years. I was like, okay, what are some of the common elements of some of these top producers? And you just said something that I think is incredibly important. And I think for someone like you, is kind of just like that's what you do. But I think a lot of realtors don't do this. What Susan basically just said was that she goes and finds her own inventory for her buying clients, right? She's not just scouring the MLS, which of course she is doing that too. She's like, I'm going to just lob a call over to so and so down the street because that's the perfect house for my client.
Hmm.
And I'm going to see if they would be willing to sell. I find that is something that top realtors often will do, and other agents just doesn't even occur to them. They just look at the MLS. That's what's there. If it's not on there, sorry, can't help you. I love that. So you are
I think it
literally
also depends. I think it also depends on the age, of the Gen Zs that don't like to make phone calls. I've been hung up on a lot in my career, right? A lot of doors get shut in your face. Keep going, right? Just keep going. The next door is open, and just don't let it stop you.
Yeah, I think it's so important because people, either you can wait for them to get ready to sell their home, or
Right.
you can proactively go to them and say, here's what I think I can get you if you're
Hmm.
interested. And I know that everyone's got a price. Everyone's got a price
Right.
for their home that they would be willing to move, even if it's their forever home. So,
Hmm.
if I might think I'm in my forever place now, but if you came to me with 100% return offer like that I
Yep.
would made 100% on, that's not my forever home anymore. I'm going to find something else. So that is
A
such a
great a
smart.
great opening line for that is fill in the blank. If I could get you X, I you would
Yes,
sell your house, right? And fill in the blank and see what they
I
say. Because
love that
you might
question.
you might be thinking that they're thinking here when they're really just thinking here.
Yeah.
So, on a good example of that is I had somebody call me once for a donation, and they asked me if I would, and it was an organization who was important to me, but I had given to them before. And I was planning on giving more that year, that particular year. And they called me and said, just wondering if you would match your donation from last year. Dumb. So I matched my donation. They could
Right.
have gotten double from me if their approach was different.
Yeah.
You know,
That is
right?
really absolutely
It's all in the presentation.
all in the presentation. Thank you for that is such a great tip. I love that. Let's talk about presentation. When you go into a listing presentation, let's say, for
Hmm.
example, and let's say it's not a instant slam dunk. It's not a past client. It's you're in competition maybe with another agent. How do you approach listing presentations? And because obviously you win a lot of them, so tell us about what you do in a listing presentation that you think maybe is a little different.
So interesting that you say that, because the thing that you said that really stands out is what people think, right? Oh, this is a slam dunk. What I tell anybody who will listen to me, nothing is a slam dunk. If you're going on a listing presentation of your brother's house, be prepared. Everybody is a client. Everybody deserves to get the best, to make, hopefully make a profit, but everyone deserves to be treated exactly the same. And I'll go back to that in a second, just saying that, I think a common thread when I read some of my, hundreds and hundreds of Google reviews is when people come back and they say, she treated us like we were her only client. And I think that's really important, is that you give, whether they're spending 100,000 or 100 million, it doesn't matter. Treat everybody the same, because their house is their castle. And so I like to do a two-step program. Not everyone will tell you it's the best way to do it, but I like to go out the first time. If I don't know the people, I don't know the house, give me a tour and I take notes. Tell me what you've done. Tell me what you love about living here. And then I'll come back, tell them I have to do my homework, because I don't care how good you are. You can't go out and tell someone a price of a house without
Right.
seeing it. It's impossible. So to
And
walk
by
in
the way,
there,
I want to pause you for a second because, and I want you to keep going with this, but this is what a
mhm,
consultant does. A consultant goes into a company and says, tell me about the company. And then they go, I'm going to come back and give you my
mhm.
findings. So this is what we're talking about with the two-step process. You're doing it very much like a consultant would.
Right. Do your home, go back, do your homework, and then come back and show them. And that's, sometimes I'll talk about a little bit of my marketing on that first interview, kind of what I do. Very quick, they're always like, well, what's your commission? Well, we're going to go over everything when I come back, because there's so much more to tell you about what I'm going to do for you. And it's always about what you're going to do for them, and not for yourself. And so I don't go in prepared to, sign right here on the dotted line. I may lose some. I have gone out on a few in my career, and where I'm called back, the next day, and they say, "Oh, we signed with someone."
It happens.
To me, that person was maybe just buying the listing. They told them a really high number that,
Sure.
that they wanted to hear and get them to sign on the dotted line. I like to be realistic, and otherwise they're going to call me every single day. Why hasn't my house sold? So I like to do my homework and give them real facts. And I'll never take more than 48 hours before I go back, but I like to be prepared.
It's so funny because I've been talking to top producers, I guess, for 6 years now, and they pretty much everyone, has a similar sort of answer, like you were saying. Well, not the two-step approach always, but doing your homework, going in with information, having a presentation, and really having it very well practiced.
Mhm.
I suspect that is missing from a lot of realtor training. I think a lot of agents don't get that sort of training of listing presentation, buyer presentation. How do you, how are you extracting information? How are you collecting that information? And then how are you using that information to, hopefully get the deal? It is something that is a real art and a science, I believe. And something that you're obviously part. So when you first go out there, you're on like more of a fact finding mission. You're like,
Mhm.
tell me about the home,
Right.
tell me about all the things that you want or that you've done to the home, and you collect all this information, and then you go back, you process it, you put it through some different metrics, and then you're
Mhm.
like, okay, here's what, just like a consultant, here's my
Right.
report, here's what we're going to do.
And I come back with a nice bound book, and in it is not just statistics about, William Pitt Sotheby's, but, and about me and what I've done, but the marketing. I bring them, actual, photos, and show them the difference of, here's a cell phone photo versus my professional photographer. I'm not a good photographer. So just because of that, I've used a professional photographer for 20 years. So that's important. I think that people need to see it, touch it, feel it. And I bring them this book, show them, here's what I'm going to do for you. Show them the advertising. I show them, where their house is going to appear, how it's going to appear, and then give them real facts. Here's the house that sold, within your neighborhood. Oh, well, then why isn't my house worth that much? Well, because they have a brand new kitchen, and yours is from the 1970s. I mean, I don't say that, but I try to give them the reasons as to why I think their house is worth what I think it's worth. And then we talk about just the kind of the art of pricing, right? Not just that 99-cent pricing, the ending with the 99s,
Sure.
but I have always sort of said, it's really important to let the buyer perceive a value. You, to me, you cast a wider net. The wider your net, the more people that come in. The more people that come in, the more offers you're going to get. The more offers you're going to get, the higher your price is going to be. So I think just coming on, right, here's your market value. Let's come on under your market value. Let's cast that wider net. And, you're kind of like walk into a department store, right? That lost leader at the end of the aisle. It got you to get into the store, and then you're going to spend more. That's what we want. We want more people to walk in. We need the traffic to get your price up. So I
And
think it's just important to tell them all aspects about marketing.
I think so too. And there is this psychological principle called escalation of commitment. So what Susan's basically saying is, hey, maybe it's smarter to price it slightly under market value so that we have more people competing. And the reason why that's significant for human beings is we are wired to, as we agree to something, as we want to continue to agree to something. So that's what's called escalation of commitment. You guys can Google it, but it's basically a psychological
Hmm.
principle. It says the more as you continue to say yes to something, you become more and more committed. It's harder actually to pull out. So in other words, if you're going back and forth with somebody on pricing, there's multiple offers, there's bids. It's actually more likely that those two people will continue to battle it out versus one person saying, I'm leaving. So it's actually a really smart play because it plays into our human nature of wanting something and wanting to compete and win and achieve, which is built into us. So that's a really smart idea. Is get a lot of people interested in the property, and then you can have them all battle it out.
Right, exactly. And I think also back to that kind of two-step, I think that the other idea behind it is it gives you time, if you don't know the people, gives you time to maybe make a connection. Right now, you can go down a rabbit hole, certainly on social media, and figure out who they might know, or find out, oh, they used to work for this company. Oh, did you work with so and so? And it's about, oh gosh, 35 years ago, I think. I had a marketing company look at all these notes I had received in the 5 years I had been in business. Beautiful thank you notes from my clients. And they came up with a tagline, and it's real trust, real care in real estate. And that's what they came up with after looking at all of that. I care about people. I really truly care about them. I have a baby shower of an old client I'm going to in a couple of weeks. I've been invited to weddings and bar mitzvahs and barbecues, and that's a testament to me just fostering my relationships with people. But I like my physicians. Maybe I'm just I should have been a doctor in my other life if I ever wanted to go to college. I love medicine. I'm fascinated by it, and making them my friends has not only it's been great because I get to learn, but obviously it's helped in my career because they just continue to refer me and refer me. And it's all this business. If you want to stay in it long term, it's just all about relationships. And I have a team that I started about 10 years ago, only two people on it. I don't want more. A very different team. I kind of, I say it's, like 1 + 1 + 1 = 3, putting our ideas and thoughts together and also putting our volume together just makes us greater. It's small team, but number one small team in Connecticut means a lot more than just an individual person. And
Absolutely.
unique people, everyone's different. Again, fostering relationships. One of the girls has been with me about 10 years. She's a marathon runner. Great connections, right? She's out there selling herself all of the time. Obviously, we've made up a T-shirt, so it says the Susan Santoro team, but then in the back, in big letters down her back, says realtor. Let someone come up and ask her a question while she's out running or at the end of a marathon. Tap into that, right? One of the other girls has been with me about 4 years. She's a mom of 3 kids. That is your perfect audience. Get involved with their sports, get involved with their, PTA. So, I love to be able to problem solve with them, love to be able to teach them how to tap into their resources and go through your index cards and call people. Q4, I said I'm not a goal setter in the beginning. Q4 is my very favorite quarter because I like to look and see how much I could actually accomplish in Q4. So I go through my address book and I reach out to as many clients as I possibly can in a week,
That's
whether it's a,
amazing.
yeah,
That is a great idea because most people step off the gas in Q4. We have the
ugh,
holidays, we have family
right,
stuff.
right.
We
It's the best.
but you step on the gas.
Absolutely. It's my very favorite time. And I like to see like what could I accomplish between now and then. So, and again, I don't set myself a number goal, but sometimes it's just as simple as an email. Hey, drove by your house today, love the new color of your front door. Or, pick up a phone, was thinking about you, or look on Facebook, right? See how old their kids are now. Have a reason to call them. Fostering relationships is key if you want to stay long term in this business. It's definitely the key to my success.
And thank God for social media in the sense that we now do get information about our clients if we're
Right.
following them, and we get to enjoy their lives as they post about it. And like Susan, like you just said, I get to call, hey, I just saw you went on a trip to Cancun. Hope it was
Right.
great. It's
Right.
it's the perfect reason to pick up the phone and not have to do a sales pitch on, oh, by the way,
Right.
because that can always come up naturally as well. But I want to go back to something you said that I think is really critical, and I think it comes through, is care and trust.
Hmm.
What you're really doing, because I believe that care and trust are earned, not automatically given. And you have a huge, an amazing history of constantly demonstrating care and trust, and therefore that when it's funny that your niche, one of your niches is doctors, because I think the same way. When I choose a doctor for myself, a physician, the only thing I really that's most important to me is, do I think this physician cares about me even just a
Hmm.
little bit? If they care about me, I'm good. If I feel that they don't care about me, then
Hmm.
I'm going to look for another doctor. So I use that same
Interesting.
principle when I'm going to see a doctor. I want them to actually care about me. People want the same thing, obviously, in a realtor, in any service position.
Hmm.
So I think that is such an important thing, is demonstrating care and trust. Is really should be a, if people are going to set goals, I think that's a heck of a good goal to set. Is I want every one of my clients to go, uh, Susan cares about me, or DJ cares about me, or
Right.
whatever. That is worth its weight in gold.
Absolutely.
Now, what do you do to stay in touch with clients in between transactions? Because of course, people, buy their home and maybe they don't move forever or for 10 years, or what are we doing to stay in touch and make sure they don't forget about you?
Anniversary cards. Happy anniversary, right? Some people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you've been in this house 7 years, because you forget, right? You forget how
Yeah.
long you've been in it. So I'll always write in the card how long. Sometimes I'll, write little personal notes. Thanksgiving. I don't do Christmas. I don't do Hanukkah. I don't, sometimes I'll do New Year's. Thanksgiving cards. It's a great time to say thank you. It's exactly what you're saying. Thank you for your referrals, even if they've never given you one. They may have thought that they've mentioned your name. It may not have panned out, but you're thanking them. I do send a gift. I I can't talk about, what it is because you're not supposed to, but I do send a gift to every client who does give me a referral after closing, and they're so appreciative of it and very surprised when they get it, and then they like the idea of getting this gift, and so then they try to give you more. So one of my departments at Yale, there's two girls who are in competition to see who, and they keep calling me, who's given you more referrals this year. So it's actually become like this very funny game. But and then like I said, I do that Q4. I do spend a lot of time. An I'm old fashioned, right? I have an index box with all of my clients' names on an individual card, and
Hmm.
they're in each month of when they bought. It makes it easy. I obviously have it on computer also, but
Sure.
I'm visual. So I'll
Sure.
go through that card box and I'll start calling, just checking in, sending a note. Like I said, send an email. There's so many things that you can do. You do get hit up. I'm not going to tell you don't for donations, kids ad books, or, will you buy a pie or buy a candy?
Sure.
I do. I always buy anyone that comes to me and says they want, trying to sell food. I buy it and bring it down to the Ronald McDonald House because it's a very, unfortunately, a full house all the time.
Yeah.
So I'll always drop stuff there. But so yeah, you do get hit up. You do have to go out for drinks or dinner or lunch once in a while. I don't mind it. Again, I love to learn things from people. So it just goes back to that being a good listener. And if you're just quiet for a minute and just listen to somebody else, you're going to gain something that's going to be momentous for you. It's just going to change things for you. They might not realize that they're telling you about their neighbor who is going into a retirement home. They just might mention that, not thinking about business. I heard that. I go back to my office, I look up that neighbor's name, and I write that neighbor a letter. And I keep in touch and I keep sending letters until that neighbor calls me for a listing appointment. So good
Brilliant.
listening. Just be a good listener.
Be a good listener and be inquisitive. Like, ask lots of questions
Hmm.
about someone else's life, right? Like,
Right.
know what is going on, because home and life is connected, right? Where they're intricate, they're obviously interchangeable. Your life and your home is really one thing. And so being in touch with what's going on in your clients' lives, and listening, as you
Hmm.
mentioned, allows you to just learn about what other opportunities may exist that they might not have even thought as an opportunity for you. They're just sharing, parts of their life.
Right. And I think, the other thing is don't make it about yourself. Um, Very simply, I mean, I'm just coming to mind quickly. You sent me an email 2 days ago, and I had a nutty day, and actually was traveling back from Chicago visiting my family, and then had a crazy day, just hit the ground running. So instead of writing you an email saying, I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry is about me. And you probably don't realize this, but I wrote you and just said, thanks for your patience. Now I've made it about you.
Yes.
So it's very important to realize none of this is about me. There's lots of agents out there who are going to post every day, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. And there's enough business to go around that some people want to deal with people like that. That's fine. But I want to make it about you, make it about the client. What can I do for you? Not what it's going to do for me and make me number one. That will come. Just make it about your client.
Yeah, demonstrate care and trust.
And
It
trust,
just
right?
it all goes back to that
Right.
this accountability thing too is acknowledging thank you for your patience. If you were delayed on a response or an
Hmm.
email, thank you so much for your patience.
Right.
Here's the answer that you're looking for.
Exactly.
Um, Absolutely brilliant versus saying, I'm sorry, DJ, sorry,
Hmm.
it's not about DJ. It's
Right.
about telling the client, hey,
The
your
person that I
time.
kept waiting. Right.
Yeah, I kept you waiting.
Right.
Yes, I am sorry about that, but I acknowledge what you have. That's a really smart idea.
Real
Um,
care, real trust in real estate. It's my tagline.
yes.
Actually, I should, if I want it someday, maybe I'll get it tattooed someday. But it's a motto that I live by.
How important is it to have a niche whether it's you work with doctors, you work with
Hmm.
faculty at Yale, obviously you have other clients as well, but how important is it to have a specialty, like just like doctors have specialties?
I think nowadays, I guess if I was to get into the business again, if I was new, I would try to focus more on that. I think there's a lot of people who have made that really their success, whether
Yeah,
it's, the waterfront specialist or the this specialist. I think, I can't really call being a realtor to the docs my niche, but I guess it just what I sell, myself in is just the time that I can dedicate to them, right? Sometimes they don't even realize what time it is, especially the ones in training. They're doing their residency here. They're in surgery. They get out 2 in the morning and they're sitting down and they might be looking online to see all of the stuff that I, sent to them to look at today, all the new listings, and they don't even think twice. They'll start texting me.
yeah,
And sometimes I'll surprise them and answer them at 2:30 or 3 in the morning. Um, other times I won't, and try to say, okay, I get a little respect of time, but um, but I think that that's really important. I pay attention to them, and so I think that that's sort of the niche thing. Again, came about kind of by accident like that, but that's when people come to me and they'll say, "Oh, Dr. So and so recommended you. I'm going to be, I'm coming in the neurology department." Um, Great, and they said, "Yeah, I was told that you never sleep." So it's like it's become a joke, but they love that I can
yeah,
dedicate so much time to them. A lot of times they're texting or calling me even on WhatsApp because they're coming from another country
sure.
and I'm able to, talk to them at crazy hours. So I think depending on what your niche is, you can really hone in on it. I just interviewed with another department at Yale. I'm not going to mention them by name. And the chief sent me a nice note the other day and said, we'd like to take you on as our realtor if you don't mind.
If you don't mind.
We're interviewing a few people next week, that we're going to have you take out. Terrific. So, it's another department. So again, it's no one's paying me to do this. So you don't get paid until you're sitting at a closing. And I think that goes back to that drive of waking up unemployed every day. You know, we don't make a dime till you're sitting at a closing, and don't forget that. The
Yeah,
deal doesn't end when you write the contract and it gets accepted. There's so much more to it. You you want to be able to give somebody my kid fell out of a tree today. Oh, we're new in the area. We don't know anybody. Do you have a pediatric ortho you can give us? So sure. That's what you want. You want to be that person that they come to for the name of a restaurant, anything. So I think that that's really important, that just don't let the deal end after you write the contract.
yeah. It's so you said a lot just there, and a lot of really great stuff. I could not agree with you more. I think it's super imperative that people think about the kind of relationships they want to have with their clients, and to think, well, what do I have to do to earn that relationship? What do
Hmm.
I have to do to earn somebody saying something like, oh, this person cares about me, my realtor likes actually is invested in my happiness, like
Hmm.
if they can say that, they're going to sing your names to the they're going to sing it from the mountaintops to everyone else. The other thing too is, thinking about niches, and you were talking about working with physicians, is you probably, just by being around them, you've studied kind of what physicians are like, what their needs are.
Mhm.
Obviously everybody's different, but they have commonality. I'm sure there's certain
Totally.
needs, and you have just been a student of whatever departments you've worked in, to where I suspect you almost think of yourself almost as an employee even of some of these other departments.
And some of the doctors that do come in think I am, and they think I'm working for the hospital or the university. And, sometimes I have to, if it comes up, I'll explain that I'm not. And, here's how you got to me. But, it's, again, it's just relationship building and caring, caring, caring. So I'm today, in fact, as I'm talking to you, I just got an alert just popped up on my computer. A client who I sold a house to 3 years ago in the military, and was given my name from another realtor who follows me online. Sold them a house, not too far from here. They've been doing a lot of work to the house. They reached out to me. Do you have a plumber? Do you have an electrician? So they sent me a note last week and said, we'd love to have you over to show you what we've done to the house. And most realtors would be like, if they're not selling, I'm not going to go over. And it is going to take up an hour and a half of my time today. My alarm just went off, just reminding me that that's where I'm going today at 4 o'clock. So, yes, it's 45 minutes there. It's 45 minutes back. I'll probably sit there and, visit with them for an hour and a half. Okay, but 3 hours of time, if their neighbor decides to sell their house, who's going to be on the top of their head?
Yes.
So you've got to just take the time to do stuff like that. And I'm excited to see what they've done to the house. And I really, truly do care, but take the time.
That's the whole point, is that you are happy to, and it's not always easy to drive
Yeah,
45 minutes each way. It's not easy, but you're excited to do it, and it's what ultimately demonstrates care and
right.
compassion. And I'm in this, I'm a professional, and I
Hmm.
want to see this all the way through.
Right.
Susan, this has been such a fun episode. You have
Oh,
given
thank
our
you.
audience an incredible amount of strategies and techniques and tips. And, from your 39 years in the business, is just incredible. Your motor is still revved up and ready to go every
Absolutely.
morning. I'm going to adopt the I am unemployed every morning idea. I love that. I think that it's not to depress somebody, not to make somebody feel,
No,
but to create a
opposite.
bit of urgency, a bit of like, what am I going to do today? Where am I going to
Right.
go? Who am I going to talk to?
Right.
And
You have to create your own interview, right? Create your own job interview every day. And also, are you going to get up and, brush your hair if you're going to go out and interview? Yes. Then don't walk out of your house without doing that. So, just always be ready to sell yourself, because everyone out there is interested in real estate. Everybody. I don't care who it is, whether it's they're making money or they want to be an investor, they want to ask you questions. So be ready and look your best.
love it. Well, for everything Susan, please follow her on Instagram, Susan Santoro _realtor at Instagram. She also has a website at William Pitt Sotheby's International Realty. We'll post a link to that, because Susan is just outside of New York City. She has a lot of people that are moving in, moving out. She works, with universities there. So if anyone out there has clients that may be moving in or out and wants to network, Susan, with you, what's the best way they should reach out to you?
They can reach out to me either on social media. You said the Instagram. Also, the Susan Santoro team is on both Instagram and Facebook. My email, Susan Santoro 11 at Gmail. 11 is my lucky number. So Susan Santoro 11 at gmail.com. My phone number is all out there. They can Google me and they're going to find out everything about me. But yeah, I
Wonderful.
do a huge referral network, and I'm always looking for agents in different areas, and I love keeping in touch with them. And eventually, I mean, I probably have 8 or 9 referral checks that will be coming in soon of referrals I've given in all different states. And again, it comes from, I was talking to a physician that I went to on an appointment, and he mentioned to me that his mother is going to be putting her condo up for sale in Florida. Really? Okay, on the East Coast. Oh, great. Where? And we just start talking. Again, it was just conversation. I said, "Ah, I have a great realtor there." Oh, I didn't necessarily have a great realtor in his mother's town, but I have enough of a network that I can go to and say, who's the best in that town? And then I called that doctor that night he gave me his personal cell phone number, called him that night, gave him this person. Already I spoke to that agent. I have a check coming in now.
Yeah.
So, use every opportunity out there to talk about real estate. So I think I've probably given away all of my secrets now, but again, I love to teach, and I'm happy for anyone to reach out to me with any questions.
Well, Susan, you have been super generous to us on this show. We
Thank you.
thank you on behalf of the audience. Thank you for your time today, and and good luck at your 45-minute each way plus hour
Absolutely.
and hour meet with your clients there, and just on behalf of everyone, thank you. And on behalf of Susan and myself, we want to thank the audience for making it to the end of the episode. We just ask that everybody do 2 quick things. One, tell a friend. Think of one other realtor that is struggling right now, could use a little boost, maybe a few fresh ideas to help them finish this year strong. Send them a link to this episode. We would appreciate it. And also leave us a review. Tell us what you think of the show. Let us know what you like and what we could do to improve. This show is for you, and we want to continually make it better. So tell us what to do. Everyone, go follow Susan on Instagram, Susan Santoro _realtor. Link to that in the show notes, as well as her website. Susan is a class act and is
Well,
just an
thank you.
amazing, amazing realtor. Please reach out to her, learn from her, and hopefully everybody can, start to have more success in the way that Susan does, which is a lot about being professional, knowing your data, and staying in touch and caring about people.
Right.
It's really it's just a lot of hard work. Is what it is.
It's a lot of hard work. The little thing on my desk that, the old Chinese proverb, fall down 7 times, but stand up 8.
Yeah.
Keep going. Don't give up. It's a great career. It's a lot of work.
It reminds me of that old Zen saying, which just says, "Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water." Like,
Absolutely.
just
Don't
keep
stop
going.
doing it. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we'll
AJ,
see
it was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Susan. We will see everybody on the next episode. Thanks, Susan.